Alright, welcome to the debut of Valnac Gaming. Today we're going to be building a gang in Necromunda Underhive Wars. Let me also just say real quick that if this is your first time seeing my channel, you're not going to offend me or worry me if you skip this video and go directly to many of the other videos that hopefully are up on my channel by now. The reason why I say that is because this episode is kind of a test episode to make sure I've got everything working right, but not only that, it's also so that I can go ahead and get the looks of my gangs down before actually working with them and actually putting out true content like the builds and the playthrough. So again, you know, if this is your gig, you want to see the kind of concept that I go for on my gangs, and I'm kind of doing a whole new fresh platform. And this real quick, Nico, are you hearing me fully? I will assume you are until I see differently. And excellent, thank you. Okay, I see you. All right, thank you very much for all that. Okay, so one thing that we are going to focus in this video is to go ahead and show how to make a gang with a cohesive look. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. So the first things to show you, besides starting a new gang here, is that this is a complete fresh playthrough. I do not have any at least for now anyway, I do not have any infamy points or anything like that. And the first one we're going to make is we're going to go ahead and make a House Orlok gang. And one of the things I like about House Orlok is the fact that they're really good, in my opinion, in PvE due to the range shooting that they have and the bonuses of that. So let's go ahead and start there. Let's see. What do we want to name these guys? Let's see. Scrap makers, underhive dogs. I like the underhive dogs. Alright. So we want to make sure that we select on custom gang and create new gang. By the way, if you haven't read the flavor text on these screenshots, they're really awesome. Like the some crumps here, it's pretty cool. It really adds into the story of Necromunda and the kind of the lore behind it all. Alright, so first things to show you, well, Infamy is actually a lock. First thing we're going to do is we're actually, because this is our first playthrough period, we are actually going to go ahead and start operations first. The reason why is we actually get a discount when we buy our first troopers. So let's go ahead and begin an operation. The AI is easy enough to do on easy, and seeing how we want to kind of just get some infamy points up pretty quick so our future gangs will have the advantage of having some infamy points, let's just go ahead and take easy for now. On the facilities, you get your 2 facilities out of 4. And the first one, especially for the beginning, is training ground. This reduces the cost of hiring fighters by 10%, the cost of skill upgrades by 5 XP, and stat upgrades by 3 XP. And that really does count and up a lot, especially to reduce the cost right now. Later, you'll have a chance, when you have infamy points to spend, there is a opportunity to get another like 35% off the price, so you're almost paying half. And then for the other ones, it really doesn't matter which you go. The extra 5 XP per battle is not bad, but it's really, you know, by the time you level up to like level 4, level 5, that 5 XP is not going to count for jack. Medical lab is nice, at least right now, especially beginner player, because you get that medical consumables, which can be very helpful. However, we're also on easy mode. I'm not anticipating us to get really hurt that bad. So we're going to go with salvaging benches because we do want to get the armor. And if we have a chance to get explosives, great, but hopefully we'll get more armor than anything. Now, we don't have any infinite points to spend right now, so I'm not going to go over that. And we're just going to go down here and hit confirm. And we have an invalid crew, so now we have to develop our crew. So we have 650 credits to spend, which with a 10% off, we're going to get a leader first. I like to go with the house strength for the leader unless there's something specific I want. Leaders are really good with dual weapons, whether it is ranged or melee. So I'm going to go ahead and make this guy a dual ranged carrier, so a dual pistol character. So we're going to go ahead and pick Deadeye as his class, or her class. And let's go ahead and make him for now. You can play around with face shapes here, decide what you like or what you want to go with. There's no right or wrong answers to all this. Same thing with face details. No right or wrong answers, so just kind of pick one and go with it. So let's talk about traits real quick. Right now, traits don't matter, and here's why. Unless we actually intend on leveling this guy up much, those traits aren't even going to come into play until after probably about level 4 through level 6 they'll start coming into play. Allow me to explore this a little further. They come in play immediately, but what I'm talking about is in terms of points in your stats to reach milestones that you need for the skills and perks that you get later. You have to have X amount of points and stats. And at the end of the day, everybody that we're going to be hiring right now, we're going to fire by the end of this operation. So, you know, honestly, we're going to worry about that when we actually have to worry about that stuff. Because right now, we just don't. If they get up past, well, a leader starts up at level 5, but he has no XP. So you have to earn XP to spend it in, and honestly, again, at the end of the operation, we'll be able to hire somebody, make them a leader that's going to be twice as strong as this guy. So I'm just not going to worry about it right now. We will cover those pieces later. Right now, what we want to do is make sure we get a cohesive look. And so right now, that means hiring as many fighters as we can. You have to have 3 to enter a mission. 4 is usually what people go for, but honestly, if you can get all 5 to start, do so. In my opinion, a top Jove is the way to go on minimum, if not a veteran ganger. If you can afford these, even better. But as you can see, the only thing we can probably afford is a competent Joe, how you pronounce that. And that's only a rank 3. That's really not much. And again, we're going to be able to afford these top Jews and veteran gangers by the end of this first operation. So we're just going to stick with green. We're going to make this guy just a regular Deadeye. That's fine. Again, not going to worry about any of this stuff yet because we're just looking for cosmetic clothes at this point. And make sure we have at least 4, if not 5 fighters that we can go in. And it's looking like it's probably going to be 4. Let's do this one as a heavy gunner. And looks like we'll be able to do one more. We'll also do them as a heavy gunner. I like to do with my Orlock gangs 2 heavies and 2 Deadeyes, and then a Cakerer, excuse me, engineer. Let's see, I think it's 115, 135 each, yeah, so we don't have enough for that 5th one. So we'll get them in just a moment. So we're gonna go jump into an operation real quick. And the reason why is we just want to go ahead and get enough money to go ahead and pay for that. Actually, we might actually already have that. Never mind. Let's go here to shop. And yeah, let's sell off all this stuff. We don't necessarily need it right now. Alright, and now we have enough to get that 5th one. And we'll go ahead and make that one a lay mechanic. That's what I meant earlier when I said engineer or tinkerer. And we'll them. Okay, now we got 5. And as you can see, we just did an infinity point. We went ahead, got strength in numbers, we've hired 5 out of 5 crew. So let's go ahead and give them all a interesting look now. So the first thing we got to do is kind of figure out a coloring scheme. And you're going to do that by going into general here and hitting, I play on the Xbox One, so for me it's a right trigger. We go over here to colors and we decide on what color scheme we want to use. Okay. Now, I personally don't care for the backs here. I mean, yeah, they're cool. You can use them. It definitely adds flavor. And as long as each one has the same one, then what you've got going on there is what you got going on is definitely obviously something that can get cohesiveness throughout the entire what word am I looking for? The cohesiveness of the entire look, right? But you can also do that with just colors. So what I like to do is go ahead and put it on this blank right there. And then we can go up here and again just play around with colors and back. And let's see. A couple ones that I like off the bat. And I'm not turning around so I can see his ass. I'm actually doing it so I can see the textures and stuff of this particular outfit that he's wearing. And I think I like this one. Kind of a red look. So we are going to go with that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and lock that in. Alright, now we're going to back out of that. And the next thing we can do to really kind of narrow in a look on him, and actually I need to do one more thing here real quick. Let's go ahead and take everything off him so we can kind of see what we're working with underneath all the armor and stuff. Alright, so another way to, that we can make a cohesive look is make sure everybody has the same haircut. Now I know that kind of sounds kind of weird, but bear with me. So we can make everybody like bald-headed. I personally think that it looks best if everyone's either bald or, like for the Orlocks, have a mohawk. And here's some of the other stuff for the Orlock gang, but what we're going to go with is the mohawk. Now, you do want them, unless you're looking for like everyone to be a clone or something, you do want to kind of mix up stuff. So what I do is use the mohawk here, but then I'll change up the color. So let's go ahead and just be funky with him and make a blue cyan type hair color, right? Alright. And the next thing we can do is on her chin, we can make all the chins, at least on the Orlac gang. We can't really do this until we open up Gas Mask in the storyline later. But off the bat, if you haven't gone through the story, you can actually, at least with the Orlac gang, make it where they have either a bandana or this, which is a bandana with a piece of metal. I actually like this. I think this looks good. Alright, and we'll just back out again. And let's see, what else do we want to do? Oh yeah, go to upper body. Now, if you're into Warhammer 40k, which Necromunda is derived from, you know that there is a breadth of color schemes out there for the Space Marines, for the different gangs, for the different houses that are for the Imperial Knights, different houses, even within the Mechanicus. And so I frequently kind of rip off Mechanicus here. So we've got red, and then one of the options for your shoulders has that hazard stripe on it. And I like to make sure everybody has one of these on with a hazard stripe. right? And then to me, that just kind of adds that reflection a little bit. So now that we've got three things in that everybody's going to get, which is, well, four things: a mohawk, the chin covering, the full color scheme, and then your hazard stripe shoulder thing. We'll just go ahead and say apply to the whole gang. And this is going to apply everything except for the color of the mohawk or even the hair. And as you can see, we've just got another infamy point. So we're already up to 2 infamy points. Yay. Alright. So it did actually keep the color of the hair. So that's an interesting thing. We all just learned that, so that's cool. Alright, so what we now do is go person by person. And it looks like we need to add the chin mark. There we go. And change the color of their hair and make sure that they all have a mohawk. It's got to be red. There we go. And then make sure they have the... Oops. There we go. Add that going on. Oh, and let's make sure they are also all without gear or weapons, and we'll redistribute that here in just a minute. And let's see. Over here. Head, let's make his hair the mohawk. Give it a different color. Go. It's, oh, yeah. Can't forget his chin. There we go. And then his left shoulder is what we're making. Hazard stripes. There we go. Come over to this guy, just rinse and repeat, doing the same thing. Give him a mohawk. Change the color of his hair. Give him his little chin strap. And give him his shoulder pad. And in just a minute, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with everyone having a unified. Now, here's a good scenario. We actually have a female character, and the female character do have mohawks, or kind of a form of mohawk. Now would be it right there for the Orlock Gang. So we'll go ahead and give them a hair color. And go ahead and give them their chin mask. And give them their shoulder piece. Alright, now as you can see, they all have that kind of same hairstyling going. They've all got that same chin mask going. They all got the same color schemes going. Now, the last, there's a couple more things though that we can still do to these characters to get them all looking alike. And we're going to go ahead and start all the way over here to the right with Jack. So, the two things that I suggest is one, and this is going to sound silly, but make sure everybody's got the same boots. I know, kind of silly, but like I like the spikes that comes with this. if you're familiar with 40k, I like the spiky bit, so I usually go with chaos, and they always have spikes. So there you go. So now we got some spikes on this guy's foot, which is gonna add in because everyone's gonna get the same shoes. Okay, the pants, the shirts, the gloves, those can get mixed up to kind of give each one an individual look per se. But the nice thing here, and let me back out to show, is they will look the same from the head down to their waist and then at the feet. And the only thing different in the waist area between the neck and the waist is really going to be what style of pants or shirt they wear. But the color scheme is still going to be the same, which is, again, going to give them all that cohesive look. Now, there's one other piece that actually adds to this, I know from playing this before. And we'll go to the upper body and go to the right upper arm. And one of these, there we go, is kind of a shotgun shells. And it's just that kind of yellow, splashy yellow. And I'll show you what I mean. Once everybody has this, that gives them that more cohesive look. So let's go ahead and change this to everybody here. What is it, 5, 4 on the boots. At least for the guys. The girl's going to be a little bit slightly different. And then we're going to go ahead and give them those shotgun shells. This guy, the leader here, if I remember rightly, his right arms can't be changed right now. And that's probably because he's a leader, he's got some options that the rest can't go with. Which means we have to unlock those as we go through the story mode, stuff like that. So, whoops, let me see. And can't do the upper arm either for the left or right, so he's gonna have a pass on that. However, let's see if we can't change his coloring at all. Right upper arm. There we go. Maybe we can play with the color here a little bit. So this is the coloring that we got going on right now. I guess that will have to do. I don't see anything that makes it look more hazardly striped or anything, so we will go with that. Alright, let's give him his boots. And his shotgun shells. Now let's see again with the boots. And as you can see, instead of the 4th choice, it's the 5th choice for... Oh. This is the female character? Yeah, so it's number 5 instead of number 4. And her boots are slightly different, as you can see, but they still got that spike theme, which is what we're after. And then there's the shotgun shells. And now, as you can see, oh, I could have changed this one's boots real quick. Alright, now as you can see, we've got an even more cohesive look going on. Everyone's kind of looks like it's a uniform almost. Alright, what we're going to do now is go ahead and get everybody dressed up, as they should be. I.e. with weapons and armors. So let's start with this guy. Now, originally we wanted him, because we're still going to kind of keep with the same theme, what we're going to be advancing into when we hire new people. Let's go get a couple pistols for him real quick, if we can, if it's available. Might have to buy back. Yeah, there's an auto pistol and a left pistol. Okay. And reason why is we're eventually going to, our leader here for one of the teams, primarily the first one maybe, we'll find out there later, is we want to give them dual pistols. And the main reason why is, let me jump over here to talk about the perks, is Leader Perks has two great abilities. One is Heroic Barrage, which is done with ranged weapons. And that allows you to attack 3 times, up to 3 targets. You get to do that with each weapon. So that's 6 attacks in 1 round per time. Okay? Either on 1 target, 2 targets, or 3 targets. Let's say it's just all on 1 target. That's 6 shots going into 1 target. Chances are you're going to kill them. However, it is an expensive thing to use. So there's other mitigation factors that we have to worry about, and other factors and other skills we'll have to get into. You won't be able to use this each and every time. But when you do get this out, it's going to be almost a guaranteed kill, especially as you get higher level weapons. Now, for melee, this is the way to go, and that is with same thing, Heroic Onslaught, but now instead of ranged weapons, it's with melee weapons. So we just want to at least kind of keep the feel. Right now we don't have experience to buy into it, and by the time we do, we're going to be upgrading these guys, like I said. So he's going to go ahead and have the dual one, which means that our other, where is our other one? Our other Deadeye here is going to be our sniper. There's a couple ways to look at Deadeye. Either dual pistol, kind of a ranged guy that can fire off a lot of shots. So that would be something like using a auto gun, or something along those lines. They can use something like a plasma gun and make them a little bit heavier, but not like an actual heavy weapon user. Personally, as a sniper, I think the best weapon to use is a las rifle. Go ahead and get him that. I think he already had one. Yeah, las gun right there. And so that'll be his kind of sniping weapon. Alright. And let's see. Now the heavy hitters here, just kind of use whatever you got. Personally, my favorite is probably a heavy stubber followed by heavy plasma. My least favorite is the heavy las cannon. It's the las cannon. I don't know why. I just call it personal preference, but we don't have to worry about all that because these guys are using autocannons, which is a really good one. Matter of fact, I'll be flipped up whether it's a heavy stubber or a autocannon, but I like that. So our other one, I usually do like having them have different weapons though, instead of the same one. So let's just back out real quick, go to the shop. Let's see if they've got any heavy weapons over here that are worth our time. Maybe something we have to buy back, maybe. And no, so it is going to be dual autocannons after all. Alright. And then we got this guy, our lay mechanic. Now our lay mechanic has that big thing on his left hand there. That can be used as a ranged weapon or as a melee weapon. Personal choice here, it's not an optimal choice, is there's some skills that makes that a pretty awesome melee weapon down the road. So I like to use that as a melee weapon or having a fixture on it that's melee orientated, and then in his offhand have a ranged weapon. And he's that character that can kind of back up a melee character, or in this case for our setup right now, the only character who does do melee. But that said, we do want to go ahead and equip him with what's available, which right now is a River Canyon. So he is going to be more shooty than anything else. But we can also do actually the opposite. If we want to do shooty here, we can actually go with a melee weapon. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's go buy him a melee weapon. Which probably have one, so we can get a chainsaw. Nice. Let's see what else we got though. Spudjacker. Spudjacker is one of my favorite weapons. Reason why is even though the chain sword looks the coolest, in my opinion, looks the coolest. Same with the power sword. The Spudjacker has this stun chance of 50%. And what that means is that your opponent, when you hit him with it, if you stun him, that opponent, whether it's another person or an AI, has to spend action points to get unstunned. And that means they have to use their resource. So this is a thing that we want to happen. So let's go ahead and give him that Spudjacker. And then his range will be with that other thing. Now, we do want to switch this down the road, and here's why. I'll just show you really quick. If it will allow me. No, it won't. There's a ability perk, I think it's called Hydraulic Slam. And what that does is allow him to use that equipment as a fist weapon, basically. And it hurts a lot. So, there we are. Alright, so we got all of our guys up. Let's go ahead and get them armored up now. Starting with the one we want to protect the most, in my opinion, which is going to be your leader, followed by melee characters, followed by range characters, followed by your heavies. And the reason why is heavies have a way to help block damage on each other and for the rest of the team for that matter as well. Your leader has the ability to put out orders that affect other people, that gives them more action points or more mobility points. And we'll discuss that when the time comes. We're actually in the game and showing you that stuff. So there's a lot of options that can happen, and especially with the dual pistol wield, there's a lot of options. And yes, the heroic barrage is really cool. At the end of the day, there's a lot of other options that this fighter or this stereotype fighter here, I'll just call him that since we'll replace him here in a bit. There's a lot of different options that they can go through, so a lot of versatility, and we want to kind of protect that versatility because that gives us stuff that we can do. So what we want to do now is just armor up. There is no right arm. He doesn't need a left arm because that has his grapnel on it, and that allows him to move around the battlefield a little bit better. But there's a protective vest we can put on. Great. Got a left greave and no right greave. Okay. Nope, that's it. So now he is fully set. Now the only thing else we got to do is those blue weapons kind of look out of place, don't they? So let's just go ahead and change out the color of the weapon. So we can do this in several different ways. We can either kind of go black and red there, red, gray, and black there. I guess it's red, gray, and black, just a different version there. So let's go ahead and go with that. And voila, won't worry about two-handed weapons on him since he probably won't wear it. Have one, so there we go. Do the same thing for this. Oh, I'm sorry. Do this in the rightful order here. Now I said the next important is a melee character. We don't really have a melee character, but Joffrey here, I think that's how you say that, looks like he could get into melee, right? He's got that Spudjacker after all. So let's go ahead and give him armor next, if there's any available. Again, nothing on the left. Doesn't wear anything, nothing for the right. Doesn't need to worry about his left. There is nothing for his chest. There's nothing for the right leg, and nothing for the left leg. So, looking a little slim there, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and change the coloring on his weapons, though. Come down here to one-hand weapons and switch it over to. Which one was it? This one. Alright. The other thing we could do here, if we wanted to, is underneath the straps, is change the color of the straps. And kind of the best way to demonstrate that is to do this on a much different color, so like a blue. And then you can change the number of straps he has. And some people have straps on their legs when you give them waist things as well, and that can kind of add more to that cohesive looks if you wanted it that way. For this gang, we're not going to worry about it, but for some of the extra gang, we will worry about straps because they have a lot of straps going on with a lot of their outfits, and it makes it stand out more. All right, so we got them. All right, next would be the other right here. And we already know there's really nothing to add, so all we got to do is, for armor-wise, all we got to do is change out the weapon color. And he's got two-handed, so. There we go. And I actually have been using the wrong one, okay. Let's change that back over to the right color combination. Yeah, there we go. Oops. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with this guy just real quick. Grab a drink real quick here. Alright, now we're going to do our heavies. So there is a possibility you might have something for our heavies on armor, which would be this arm? Nope. This leg? Nope. So never mind. No more armor to go around. So let's go ahead and change his weapon color. And he's a two-hander. There we go. And this one's also the two-hander. And voila, we now have a gang that looks like they're in uniform, that has a cohesive look to them. Alright, the only other thing that I might go ahead and do at this time, even though we're going to be getting rid of them, is give them, rename them into names that we can kind of remember more easily than how it's things. So like Jack, that's an easy name, we'll leave him in Jack. Cannon Clundy, I'll keep him at that. Chief Gilney, yeah, we can deal with that. Joffrey, normally I would change that name, but we're getting to the point that if there's only just one or two people to change names. Dillo? Yeah. Okay, we're not going to change any names right now, but once we have more permanent characters, we might change names into more simple ones so that we can easily remember, recall, and know who they are off the bat. Now the last thing we want to do before we go into an operation is go down here to shop. And we've got one item that needs to be sold off, which we're just going to go ahead and do that. And that's it. That's our game plan. The next time we come back to Underhive Dogs is we will go ahead and look into doing an operation with them and kind of talking about tactics. Probably end up doing a couple operations either on screen or off screen till we get enough points to go ahead and buy some new crew. And again, that magical number, let's go ahead and go over to empty here. Our magic number that we want to be able to do again is at least get them to top Juve, if not a veteran ganger. So we'll need between 950 and 1300. excuse me, 700. I've been talking about the starting experience versus the higher cost this entire time. Okay, so 700 and 1100 on the cost. Now, down the road when we get into our last few hires that we'll make for gang, by the way. So, let me back out of here for a second. So as you notice, we've got a crew, and you got your reserve 1 and reserve 2. So we're gonna have 15 fighters all the way. So what I've been doing and what I like is to get the primary crew up to at least top Jews. Now there's going to be in our second operation, and that'll be a few episodes down the line here, but we'll have an infamy point that will allow us to get a free level 5 character, which is a veteran ganger. And what we'll do is we'll end up getting 4 of these and 1 of these eventually for our regular crew. Now after that, we'll get a veteran ganger each and every time we do a new operation, and we'll probably end up doing 2 to 3 operations more before we have a full crew of 15. And this is if we don't have anybody die or have to replace anybody. So we will always end up getting a veteran ganger and then buy either more after the first operation. First operation we're buying top Jew, but second operation and third operation we'll be buying veteran and mighty gangers almost exclusively, plus getting 1 free. And our last gangers, when we get to the last couple buys, will probably end up being champion gangers. Now by this time though, our mighty gangers and veteran gangers will have ranked up enough to be equal to this anyway. One thing we will not buy again is a leader. And here's why. A leader comes in at level 5 with no experience. You can bring in a veteran ganger at level 5. Don't spend his perks, just buy the points to get him to level 5 in his stats, and you'll be able to buy all the perks that you want, including leadership perks. The other thing is, and I'm sorry, I probably should have led with this, is you can't promote someone to leader until they're level 5. So you have to get them to level 5, and when we do that, the easiest way to do that is just raise up the stats. Once he's level 5, you can promote him to leader. Once you promote him to leader, he can get those leadership perks, which includes like the heroic barrage and the heroic onslaught. And you don't have to level him up, because at the end of the day, that's a lot of leveling when he comes in at rank 5 but has absolutely no experience. So he's got all these perks open. He's got some better stats, but he still has stats that have to be raised in order to use some of those perks. And I just find that it's you know, it's so much easier to get what you want and then raise them to leader. So we'll end up doing that a couple times. But anyway, that's it for now. I want to say that I appreciate you if you actually watch this entire video. Give you a lot of thanks and appreciation for you doing so. Again, maybe if you skipped around in the video a lot, if you did skip around this video a lot, you're not hurting my feelings by any means. The other videos that'll be coming out after this should actually get better and more involved, etc. So those are the videos I want you to enjoy. Stay tuned for some announcements on the Twitch streaming that I'll be doing and schedule, as well as what games. While this is going to be one of the games that I'll be streaming and uploading to YouTube, there's also a couple others that I intend on doing as well. And over time, games may change out. You know, it's the whole point of doing this. I am doing this more as a hobby than anything else, and sharing my love of the games that I like to play. Whether I'm that good or not doesn't really matter, right? I enjoy playing them, and that's what's important. So there we go. If you liked what you saw, though, make sure you hit that like button down below. That really does help me out. If you would like to be notified, well, subscribe, of course, but then make sure you hit that little bell icon so that you're notified when I have new videos up. And I should have new videos up every couple days. So there we are. Thanks again for joining me. Have a great day.